So I will be talking today about the catalog. I think that is a topic that has been already partially addressed, and we already have talked during the previous days and even today. And it is tightly related to the crawlers question. So I think we would also have a very interesting discussion on how to create this ecosystem where all of the users and administrators of wikis get value from it in the best possible way. So a little bit about me. I'm Daniel Dobriy, and this is a project that is associated with VU Vienna University, and in particular the bilateral AI cluster of excellence. So without further ado, I'll get straight to the main idea. The main idea behind the general catalog that we are developing, and I think this talk will also include a very extensive demo of different parts. So also feel free down the line to ask questions and ask how anything looks, or going yourself to the catalog and then exploring yourself what is out there already. But in general, the catalog aims to discover and index all of the structured data that is out there on the web. So that is a quite an ambitious undertaking. But part of the structured data, as you can see right here in the beginning, is different kinds of wikis, including wiki bases and semantic MediaWiki, and also wikis in general, including also other software suites. And wikis are an interesting use case, actually, here with the leaderboard of countries that have the highest wiki per capita ratios. So this, I think, represents also to some degree a lot of participants that we have in the MediaWiki conference, and the countries where wikis are extensively used and published. And so that I don't repeat already a lot of other people, a big central resource that has been a cornerstone of the MediaWiki community is Wiki Apiary. That, of course, has limitations in terms of how it was implemented based on semantic MediaWiki, but has been an amazing and central resource for the whole community. So, and just as a reminder, to be complete, Wiki Apiary monitors many thousands of MediaWiki instances. It monitors extensions, skins, their versions, user activity, uptime of wikis, and it has been a real reference point for developers, for researchers, and for the broader wiki community. So, but as we know, it had a number of limitations, like the volume of data having grown has led to the situation where some of the queries are becoming slow and the availability is in general degrading because Wiki Apiary has outgrown potentially the limitations of the stack. So what we aim to do is to create a sustainable, in the tradition of Wiki Apiary, open source, broadly available and interoperable catalog that is discovering and collecting wiki metadata. And that is the catalog for the web of data. And here you can see the link for the catalog itself. And I will also share it down the line, starting more active promotion of the whole resource and what it does. And we will get to the demo of the whole catalog and what it contains. So the cornerstone of the catalog itself are the wikis, including structured wikis, semantic wikis like Semantic MediaWiki and Wikibase, and also Cargo. It is sustainable in the sense that it is supported by the bilateral AI cluster of excellence. which is the largest AI project in the history of Austria, which is already planned to run for at least 10 years, but of course will also have continuation, and which aims to connect together the symbolic AI, which arguably wikis are part of, cataloging various kinds of domain-specific data, and sub-symbolic AI like machine learning or like agentic AI that we see now getting a lot of prominence because of its flexibility. So the whole project is creating useful infrastructure, like for example, the catalog, to be able to bring forward discoverability of data and AI in general. So, and on one side of the catalog, what we have is the actual discovery of wikis. And that happens from a number of sources, including notably Wiki which already has an extensive collected registry of wikis, but also other approaches like, for example, the Crowley. I think already 2 years ago, I have briefly presented Crowley in a related talk at the MediaWiki conference. And now it also finds application in the catalog. It is a tool that has been developed to be able to discover quickly and on a large scale platforms that are powered by certain underlying software, using a number of techniques, including search engine, index utilization, but also link following, like for example, in the case of the common crawl. The common crawl is a subset of the web data which is publicly available, and also a useful resource that helps us discover wikis. Another source is previous work on the semantic MediaWiki clouds that I have been doing, and other endpoints and registries, which are actually quite many. So that gives some information on the Crowley and how it works in general, which I will for now skip. But it can identify the specific platforms that are powering websites and then collect for you an extensive registry of such sites that you can then, for example, monitor, like we do in the catalog. And the real, I think, value could be provided if we make such data broadly available for users, at least at the level of the success that Wiki had, but also going beyond. And that touches on the topics like exposing data in linked data formats like RDF. So RDF is a quite flexible format and data model that has been created for linked data, which we have in this case with wikis. So one thing that we have set up and that we host is a Sparkle endpoint that exposes all of the collected data about wikis. And you can also try it out yourself at Sparkle Catalog AI view, etc. Where we have a Clever instance, so powered by Clever, which contains all of this data from the runs that is collected from wikis. But also Sparkle endpoints and open data catalog. So it has quite a lot of data that probably goes beyond what wikis would sensibly contain. So it relies on the linked data infrastructure that has been developed for use cases with a lot of data, and it already has a lot of data. On another side, what I think is interesting and could be part of the discussion is making data available also through MCP protocol or in general for AI agents to help users in solving their tasks and answering questions. And in this context, what we need to consider is if every agent would crawl wikis by themselves, that would neither be efficient nor realistic for the wikis to be able to handle such amount of computational pressure. But if we have potential intermediary like the catalog that can collect necessary data to be able to then effectively either route or fulfill such requests, then we do not need to have agents that are directly crawling each one, all of the wikis, and we can potentially minimize the level of such traffic towards the wikis themselves, and outsource a part of this discoverability and a part of generally the crawling to just a limited number of intermediaries. Another useful interface still in integration with a lot of production apps is the REST API. So while the Sparkle catalog and the MCP servers are already implemented, and you can also check out them from the links, the first API endpoint is still in development, but it will also give a well-documented API access to the data that researchers or developers might be interested in if they want to build also applications on top of the data about the MediaWiki ecosystem in general. And the last one, I think Bernard has already notably told me that there was a similar talk, is potentially a Wiki-based instance that we could use for managing changes and involving community in gathering additional data, or on top of this automatic, very broad and scalable approach to be able to also, as communities, include additional data. So this is also the wiki base, which is now under development, but already contains data from the wikis that are collected in a structured manner. So, and now I will come to the demo itself of the wiki catalog specifically. Yes, before I get to the community. So, let me open this. If you go to catalog.ai view, etc., you will get to the front face of the catalog itself, which contains some overall data about the ecosystem. And currently we know about 637 wikis, so 287,000 wikis. But not all of them are yet crawled. So 12,000 wikis which are online are a subset of what is crawled, with a crawl actually ongoing also right now and growing quickly. And then you can get straight to querying wikis and exploring wikis that you're interested in. We have the sub selection for filtering of Wikibases, semantic media wikis, and cargo instances. You could filter wikis by number of pages. You could search wikis which you are interested in. For example, Wien-Geschichte wiki is one of the very impressive wikis that has been developed together with KMA and is maintained by KMA, and one of the largest cultural heritage wikis out there. And then we can really zoom in on the additional details about the wikis that are being collected, including the extensions, all of the API connectivity, the base statistics. We collect the information about the hosting and where the wikis are hosted, and extension versions. So not only extensions themselves, but also versions. And if you're interested in a particular extension and want to learn more about the versions or the prevalence and the usage of the extensions, you have also this information aggregated in a form that you can explore, including all of the metadata for the versions, which you can also align chronologically. Like here we have definitely the most prominent last version used by most of the wikis. We can see the distribution of versions to explore the MediaWiki ecosystem and extensions, explore by types of wikis that are using such extensions, look at the geographical usage, which is also dominated by those leaders that we have seen in the beginning, and usage over time, which is now being extended, right? So this is those are the versions of the extensions and how they develop over time. And since it's a new project, it will still grow and give us more insights and examples of wikis that use such extension. So I have not tried it with Jeffrey, but let us search by a name and see if we find extensions. Probably my wikis. Right. So we can see extensions created by a particular company. If we look at, for example, Cindy, we can see all of the extensions created by Cindy. So the search indexes all of the metadata that is contained in extension metadata, essentially. And in such a way, we can explore further the ecosystem. And it kind of shows that you can quite powerfully search what is out there already. All right. So this as an overview is just one part. I think we mentioned also the Wikibase, which is available at the wiki path. Yes. And contains some information about the wikis. Exactly. But it definitely needs more development to be useful, and there is a lot of potential to bring it forward, and then to have a smart concept of how the manual changes override the automatic ones when it is sensible or are aggregated together and then can be explored. So let me get back to the presentation. So the catalog is still essentially an MVP. The fact that I'm presenting it is actually an interesting story where I have joined the Canasta meeting trying to think of how to develop Canasta further to be a useful resource. And we started talking with Cindy about other things that I have been doing recently. So, and that's how it comes to me presenting it. So it's still work in progress, and there is a lot of potential to make it much better and to really make sure that it fulfills the needs of the users and the community in general. So to help organize that, I have created a matrix space that you can join with specifically the room for Wiki Catalog. And there we will start the discussion about further development. It would be ideal if there are people who also would like to contribute and have ideas on how to develop it into a better system for everybody. We could also explore different collaboration concepts on top of the automatic retrievals that we have. We already tried to minimize the pressure that the crawler essentially puts on wikis themselves, and to make sure that the crawl is gentle and spread out in time, but we could also do it further and think of potential strategies to improve this approach. And another thing that would be great to do is, based on this rich metadata and understanding of the wikis and ecosystem and how it is growing, we could have a regular state of wikis report, which would collect information and present it understandably for people who maybe are not as familiar with the community. So this is another sub-project which I'm very much looking forward to, and already getting it started very soon. And another topic is schema discovery, and here potentially also schema advertising. How do we make it so that the wikis that want their content to be very broadly discoverable can also do so without the need for AI agents or crawlers to crawl the whole wiki, but instead of having flexible interfaces that potentially retrieve necessary data without the need of crawlers. And such direction would also work for the catalog itself, potentially having an extension that could advertise part of the information that and knowledge that wikis have, and that the authors would like to be discoverable in a standardized way, so that Catalog and registries like Catalogue can readily take it and don't need to put any strain computationally on the wikis themselves. Right. So if you're interested and would like to contribute, there is a lot to do. And I would welcome you to join the Matrix space, or directly ping me under my email, which you see here. All right. Thank you very much for listening in. And I'm very happy to be part of this wonderful conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. That was great. Very interesting. I did try using the QR code, and it takes me into my Element X app, but it didn't take me to the actual room. I don't know if that's just me. But
let me retry.
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay.
Do we have any questions in the room? All right.
No, I think it should work. I will also copy it in the chat.
Yeah, it could very well just be me or my phone. You got ready?
Yeah. Does anybody else have the same experience?
Yeah, somebody else was able to get in, so apparently it's just my phone.
All right.
So my question is are you planning to continue using Wiki API as an upstream dependency of the service, or are you hoping to implement your own equivalent of that bypasses the wiki?
So upstream dependency is not a dependency per se, it's just an additional opportunity, right? So what we do is we combine a number of sources, right? We do it ourselves with crawler that discovers wikis when additional wikis are getting published. Also, Wiki API is one of the sources, but there is also a number of other sources, like the crawl of the common crawl, like other potential registries. So we try to approach it in a way of getting all of the available registry data into the catalog that is out there, and to have the largest set possible of wikis in general. So it's not dependent on Wiki API per se, if I can understand your correctly.
Okay, Daniel, this is Richard Evans. Thank you for a wonderful talk. I really love the project. My question is going to sound humorous, but it's meant sincerely. In the process of doing this, have you encountered Russell's paradox?
Have I encountered, what is Russell's paradox?
Okay, it's Russell's paradox is the catalog of all catalogs that don't contain themselves.
Ah, you mean that? Yeah. Well,
so the idea
in terms of
a,
cyclicity, yeah, we have that in mind, but it hasn't been a large issue.
Thank you. Okay, thanks.
It's potentially even more relevant with open data catalogs that sometimes catalog other catalogs. And yeah, so an interesting question. Thank you.
Hi, Daniel. Well, I have two questions. One, I guess, is more for other people, the Wiki apiary, the people involved with the Wiki apiary. I want to know, what they think of this and whether this, removes the need for Wiki apiary. But that's for other people. So the thing you said right at the end was really interesting about getting the schema of each wiki. I don't know if there's some standard format for that sort of thing, like RDF schema or something else you were thinking, and maybe it makes sense for various extensions, MediaWiki extensions that do data storage to output to whatever that format is.
Yeah, so certainly there is a lot of related work that has been done on it, of course, especially in the semantic web community. Getting the schema itself and the formats are, I think, are pretty clear. You have RDFS or OWL, or you have standards like void descriptions to describe the schema, right? Understandably, it's not broadly implemented, right? That the wikis can advertise their schema. And even if it would be broadly implemented, then you would need also additional functionality to be able to use that schema in the wikis that goes a bit beyond the API and would go into having a structured endpoint like in Sparkle, right? To make it then useful. But those are interesting directions to think about. If you go to the search part of the catalog, you can already check out how WikiMCP works in being able to retrieve the relevant data from wikis, but it is still limited by the features of API that wikis have, right? So this would be another direction of research and thinking for us of how to make it more useful potentially. That goes a little bit beyond, monitoring just wikis themselves and monitoring the state of MediaWiki ecosystem.
Sure, right. Okay, thanks. I'll check out what's there now. Yeah.
Awesome. Do we have any more questions? I can't figure out. No more questions? Okay, cool. Yeah, there are no more questions in the room. Thank you very much, Daniel. This was very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing the way it develops, as well as the input of folks who are in the Wiki apiary community, and I'd love to see more conversations there. So I'm going to try and join the Matrix group as soon as I can convince my phone to do so.
I will also resend the link and advertise it. Thank you very much, and thanks everybody who is out there in person.
Awesome.
Bye from my side.